Hello again, everybody. This is Cheryl with Shawn Petite's creative team. Happy day to ya. Today we're going to be creating this little community of houses, and I just think they're fun and happy, so let's get started with our supplies first. These are the Shawn Petite stencils that I used, and all of their particular names are listed in the description below. I found an old 2x4 laying around and just marked it up and let my husband go get his chop saw and do his thing with it. Next step was I had a couple of different sanding blocks and didn't like the first one, so I left that sanding sound in there because I love it. I added just a thin layer of clear gesso, just because over time the tannins in the wood would come through, but not that it really mattered, but I did it anyway. So my mom came to live with me, and we were both cleaning out some of our lots and lots of papers, and we came across some closing papers from years ago when Mom and Dad owned their homes. And so on the collage background for the community, we have all deeds of trust and different things like that. So I thought that was fun. Intermission. This is what I have to deal with. So let the collage begin. This is probably my favorite part at the start of any project, and I listed in the supplies that I was using Yes Paste. I started out with some matte medium, but then I ran out, and the matte medium wasn't sticking real well against the wood anyway, so I used it until it completely ran out, and then I switched to the Yes Paste. So basically, you're getting the idea here. I had a large pile of closing papers that I had already cut out and everything, and I literally had 6 of these little houses, so I'm not going to bore you to death with all the collaging that went on. Well, as you can see, Lily Bell has shown back up just to see what I'm doing. So I've finished the collage process on all 6. And I'm just showing you the, just kind of cute, the rental sales agreement. And I, of course, recognized all the old addresses and everything that had to do with them. So that was fun. So I just took some of the suede paint. I think it was unbleached titanium, some regular white, and some zinc mixing white, and just put all of that in a little lid. I always save all my lids. And just sort of randomly painted over it and smudged it and this and that, just so that it wouldn't be just so obvious, just to push it back a little bit. And that's what I did on all 6. I started off with the bricks and bubbles stencil, and I did 3 of the houses to make them look like they had the reddish bricks, and I mixed the crimson with a little bit of burnt umber, I think, just to make it look a little darker. But I love that little brick stencil. I think I could probably do it on lots of things. For the rest of the siding on the houses, I used Shawn's Doodle Minis with masks, and they're all removable, so they're pretty easy to do. And also the Scribble Marks 1 and the Scribbles, and then I used different ones when I got to the roofs. I used the Scribbles stencil for the first roof. It's a little hard getting it to balancing it, the straight stencil with the curved slanted roof, but anyway, I managed to pull that off. So this roof I did with the Doodle Minis. It's a little mask in like a little crosshatch pattern. I think that turned out really cute. I used the Doodle Minis again with the mask, and this one is sort of like a little bubbly mask. Mixed a little black and white paint to make some gray and use the borders stencil to make it look like little, I don't know, little Italian tile roof or something like that. I used the borders stencil again on this one. This stencil is so versatile. It's got so many things on it that you could use in so many different ways. So I just sort of overlapped them, moving them over a little bit at a time to look like shingles. Turned out real cute, I think. So there you go. The roofs are all different except for the one scallop roof, which I did in brown and gray. Just adding a little architectural detail using the border stencil. I'm using the versatile border stencil again to create like a little facade on the peak of the house. And the reason I'm doing it all the way around like I did on all of these is sometimes you might set them in a little grouping like on a sofa table where they'll be visible from all sides. So I didn't just do it on the front. So here I'm using the borders stencil again. I'm telling you, this is just the most versatile. I love this stencil. And I'm creating like a little gingerbread effect on the top fronts of some of the houses. Some vintage bits and bobs here for embellishing. Some windows cut out of an old storybook. And some old book covers that are made out of cloth. They're real easy to tear, and I thought they'd be real cute to make the doors with. Now I'm starting to paste down the doors that I made out of the book covers and the little windows that I went through the bumper book and cut out. You'd be surprised at how many different things you can get out of just random books and just things. Anyway, I think they turned out cute, and then later on we'll get to some things that I made some shutters out of too. And as always, I'm taking a General's charcoal pencil and just outlining just to give a little definition, and then we'll see. One thing leads to another, so we'll see what happens after this. I'm nailing on some doorknobs, and I considered leaving that sound in there too, but you would have jumped out of your seat. I used just some little random nails in different sizes just so they didn't all look uniform. Used some of my green fabric in my stash to make some shutters, and the next one is a vintage little bric-a-brac for the shutters. Decided to shade some of the brick with the Faber-Castell Pitt pen in Indian red. And out of my bits and bobs bin, I found this cute little, now what this was a piece of lace that had circles in it, and I love circles, so whenever I see, even at a thrift store anywhere that has a cute piece of lace or vintage trimming on it, I will sacrifice that shirt or whatever it is just so I can get that little piece of lace off of it, and I just love it. So I switched to the Yes paste. It works a lot better with thicker things that don't want to lay down very easily with just a thin piece of glue. And I'm adding the house numbers because every little house needs to have a little house number on it. You can get these from magazines, scrapbook paper, bingo cards, pattern tissue. I mean, literally, the sky's the limit. Just be on the lookout and keep you a little box with numbers in it. Another thing I do is that anything that even resembles a border, I keep it and cut it with my paper cutter in strips and keep it in a file called Borders. So my little file folder of borders came in handy to create this little windowsill, and I think that turned out pretty cute. I put the flowers in there and then I took them out because they were too busy in there. Here I decided to add some little flowers using Shawn Petite's little pots. This is one of her newest spring stencils. They're adorable. I can't wait to use them on something else. So first I tried to use, I think I tried pan pastel, it didn't show up. So then I went and mixed up some paint and just used some paint. I'm just adding some watered down black, just to make a little shading effect, and some white, to just adding some little details wherever I think it needs it. And really, the sky is the limit really on little things that you add. I just added a little watered down yellow to give the windows just a little golden glow. I stamped the word community on a piece of tissue paper. Sometimes it's easier to do it that way, just so the surface might not be completely flat and it might not work right. The idea behind community is that we really are better together, and that we should, we don't all have to be the same. We're all unique. We should just, appreciate each other for our uniqueness, and it's all good. And so what someone else is lacking, then another person might have. So let's all work together and stay in community with each other and keep the unity going. Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for watching.